my like group of friends used to call me Feta. That's like my nickname. And I was like, I don't know if I love that. It's not.
Was it your Greek friends or was
No,
it
it was like an American. It was like, because you're the Greek. Oh, Feta.
Oh, no.
But I was like, I don't know if I want like a middle school to high school girl who wants to be like hot and looked as attractive to be like compared to like goat cheese. I'm like, you're not even saying it right. You gotta say Feta.
Like, is it because you're Greek? You're like, no, it's because I crumble under pressure. Hello and welcome to Cleopatra. I'm Christy Bana.
And I'm Lynn Molly, and we're two Middle Eastern comedy queens digging up the funny from the first generation experience.
Our guest today is a filmmaker and comic based in Los Angeles. We're so excited to have her. Please give it up for Sophia Zolan.
Yay! Here I am. Thanks for having me.
Here I am.
Here I am once again. Okay, sorry.
I was going to go for rock you like a
Hurricane.
Yeah.
Okay, see.
You have a very good voice. I forgot that about you.
Oh, thank you so much. I used to sing, but also I don't anymore.
Actually, you just did.
Okay, but thank you.
Are you a big karaoke head?
I'm a big karaoke person.
That's the place where we split ways.
You're not a karaoke person?
I have a list of things that are like hard-nosed
But you're a
karaoke.
Leo. I feel like you'd be like, set of attention.
No.
She doesn't like karaoke or Disneyland. And I'm like, those are the two least Leo things about
That
you.
part.
Theme parks, hard no on
Really?
theme parks. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wait, what don't you like about karaoke, though?
I just feel like it's bad. or it's good, and when it's good, that's somehow more annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's no winning for me.
I feel like you have to pick like a crowd pleaser. That's usually the winner. Because then you're like, look at everybody singing at the same time. None of us are really trying. We're all drunk. That's fun.
That's true. I just did karaoke recently, and it was very hard to choose a song.
Yeah. You know which one I really want to do is Chapel Roan, Good Luck Babe, even though I'm not sure at all that I can hit the notes, but I'm like, I'm still going to do it.
You can hit the vibes, though, and I feel like that's what matters.
And then people will just sing with me, and then we won't mind that I am pitchy, you know?
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to do it yet, but soon.
And you karaoke?
I do.
You do? Okay.
What's your go-to song?
I usually do like some. What do I do like Motown, or I do like Hall & Oates, or Tears for Fears, or Depeche Mode.
Cool.
So like usually like 80s or like 60s.
Yes, definitely.
One time I went and they did have a long list of musical theater numbers, and I did enjoy that, and no one else did.
Yeah, people do that all the time.
There's like a musical theater night.
That's my night.
Yeah.
That was
That's
psychotic,
when I
guys.
So there's a bar in San Francisco that does live karaoke with like a piano, and it's so much fun. And so people always do show tunes and do like musical stuff, and it's such a good time.
That's really fun. Yeah.
Such a Broadway baby.
Ooh, I love that. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. Grew up outside New York.
Oh, yeah. Do you have a favorite
Musical? If I could be in any musical, I would want to be a featured dancer in 42nd Street.
Okay.
It's all tap, and I was a big tap dancer.
Oh, wait, you're a tap dancer, you said?
Like was.
Oh, that's
Me and
cool.
Pallavi.
Pallavi, okay.
Yeah, we had her on the pod, and she talked about that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I always wanted to learn how to tap dance.
Now's the time. We're taking a class, right?
I've really bad
It's
ankles.
never too late.
I have really stiff ankles. I do.
Or do you need not stiff ankles for that?
Well, yeah, because isn't it all this?
Yeah, it's a lot
Bippity-bop-boop?
of like ankle motion.
Yeah. Mine would be like, no.
You also have to be on the balls of your feet the whole time, which is something I think now if I tried to do it, I'd be like, this is hard.
You're like, this is too much work.
The balls of your feet?
Yeah, you're never like flat-footed when you're tap dancing. You're always on the balls.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of? This it's a hard left. I'm gonna let you know that it's a hard left. Because when you're saying that, I was like, oh no, that's a lot more work than I thought. And it reminded me of how during the pandemic, I was very obsessed with getting a saxophone. So I would just like get drunk and put a saxophone in my Amazon cart and be like, maybe this is the day. And then I'd
So funny. Saxophone.
I think it was like, well, this one was like an Amazon one, so it was like $200 some or something. And back then I was like rolling in the,
COVID cash.
Yeah. So I ordered it, and
You're
like
rolling in the dreams and COVID cash.
Yeah, COVID cash. But I ordered it thinking, because also when I was younger, I wanted to play sax. I wanted to like be a singer and a saxophone player, which doesn't make sense because you need your mouth for both of those things.
You could record the sax and then accompany yourself after.
Like I just have like a sax solo solo. So I was like, I need to fulfill my dreams, and I ordered it. And then I don't know why I thought like playing the saxophone was mainly pushing the buttons. It's not. It's like all like the mouth and how you shape and how much saliva.
It's both, but yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, this is too much work. Like I thought it was just like this, and it's not. It's more mouth.
Have you ever played like an instrument with the It's gross.
It is really gross.
It's
yeah,
really gross.
I did the clarinet for a hot second. I was like, this is.
You had brown hair.
Is that
everyone with brown hair plays the clarinet?
Really?
And all the blondes were flutes, or at least that's how it was in high
school. Interesting. Now I gotta dissect
Never heard that.
this.
That was just like the split in my school. And then one quirky girl played the oboe.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's definitely a quirky girl. That's like a redhead for sure.
So we did now with a wig on.
Yeah.
That's funny. So this is a podcast about first generation people. You've kind of touched a little bit on, sorry, I was like, you've
Okay.
Sorry, everyone.
No, I love it.
Sorry, one person that's listening.
This is our musical episode.
This is
like
a musical
Crazy
episode.
Ex-Girlfriend, but
I love it. If we all
It's Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, but bad. But I was gonna say, you've told me a little bit about some fun stories of your parents and your background, and I remember thinking like, I need to sit down with Sophia and just like talk, and now I get to do it. So
Yay. So
tell us about your background. How did your parents come here? What about your grandparents? What's your story?
So my whole family is Greek. My mom came to the United States, I think when she was like 13, and my dad came here when he was 17.
oh, so they met.
They met here in America.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. This fun story is like, I think they were driving and like both of them had like a Greek flag, or one of them maybe had a Greek flag on their car. And they were like, my mom was like, pull over, and like hit on my dad that way.
No way.
Yeah. And then I think she saw him again at like a Greek night thing. Because even though they live in America, even to this day, my mom's still very entrenched in Greek culture. Like you would never, she's like, I don't know American music. Like they play Greek music all the time, whatever. So anyway,
and where did they move to?
When I
what city was she like? Pull over.
I think it was definitely like Maryland. Like I want to say Silver Spring-ish area is probably around where they were living at the time, or Bethesda. And I think my mom, I know, moved here, like, their uncle or something already had lived here. So that's why they chose to move to Maryland. And I think they were just sick of like the cost, not the cost of living, but just
too many
like
beautiful vistas, too much.
Yeah, they really don't
food.
understand that. When I got my Greek citizenship last year, and my mom was like, didn't understand why I wanted it. They're like, what, you come to America, why you want to go back to Greece? And I was like, because it's really pretty there, and the food's really good.
And you guys invented democracy, and ours is non-existent.
Yes, and also like Greeks, they like don't care about working, which is you can tell because their economy was really trash for a while. Still kind of is, but they're very like work secondary. They're like, we go to the beach today.
I love that.
It's really nice. But yeah, wait, what was the other part of this question?
Why they left?
So I think like there was my grandfather, I think like wanted a better life. Like he was just like, there was no money in Greece anymore. So yeah, my grandfather wanted to like come here to like give a better life. And then again, because he had like one of my uncles or somebody had already lived here, or granduncles or whatever, they were like, let's go there and make a lot of money and be great.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then, so how many people came over together?
It was my grandma, my grandpa, and then my mom and her two brothers all came here together. And then I think everybody else started I can't remember like which sequence of events of like my like great, because they also, it's so my big fat Greek wedding. They all now live on the same block. Like it's just like it's like huge columns, and although like my mom moved to that block like recently, so I didn't grow up on that block. But before that, still it was like my godparents were in one house, my like Thea's in the other house, my uncle's in another house. So yeah, when they first moved here, sorry, I'm trying to remember the chronologically of events. When they first moved here, they all lived in the same house in Bethesda. So it was very like 5 generations of people in one house when we first moved here. Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you feel so seen when My Big Fat Greek Wedding came out? We felt seen as Egyptians. We were like, it's just like God.
Yes.
Oh my God. And like we had never seen anything like that. And it became such a nice shorthand for like, you know, when people would be like, what is it like? It'd be like, have you seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding? It's like that.
Yes. I feel like so many, especially first generation Americans, relate to that movie. Like so many different cultures, not just Greeks. But what's funny is that like the actual Greeks, like my mom and her brother or whatever, they hated that movie because I think they felt like it was like making fun of them and they couldn't like kind of have a sense of humor about it. But I was like, but for me, I think most first generation kids like really want to fit in. And so like that, like pointing out how embarrassing the culture can be when you're a kid. Like the one part where she goes to school and they're like, what's that? And she's like, moussaka. And they're like, mousse caca. And they call like make fun of the food she has. I was like, that's 100% how it was.
It's like your boot smells.
Or even like, I was like, Mom, can you just make me like peanut butter and jelly sandwich? And she's like, no, take spanakopita, go.
I
remember always having like pita as like the sandwich bread.
Like, oh my God, yes, totally.
Like, it's pita bread, like relax.
But still, I was like, just get me the white bread like everybody else has. I'm like, I have to like stuff like a peanut butter jelly in this pita bread. That's so funny. I forgot about that.
Grilled cheeses where we would take like American cheese slices, put it in pita bread and put it in the toaster. And let me tell you, still slaps.
That sounds like it.
But I did not know what a grilled cheese was for a long time.
Oh yeah. Also like my grandma would make us French fries, but it would be like these like potato wedges, like French fries, which were bomb. But I was like, can we just have like the skinny fries?
That's amazing. So you grew up in Maryland.
Okay. Yes. Grew up in Maryland. Wow. It was nice because I do feel like there's like a Greek scene in Maryland that, you know, now that I live in LA, there's like not much here.
Really?
It's really,
there isn't.
It's really tough. Like I was talking to somebody recently about like the Greek festivals. Like we would always go to Greek festivals every summer, winter, whatever. And in Maryland, it was like, they didn't speak any English. They're like chain smoking over they're like, this is it, you know, like, you know, whatever. And here it's like, would you like some spanakopita? Do you like our Grecian garb? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. You speak way too good English. I don't like this.
That's so funny.
Do you feel like everywhere on the East Coast has like a Greek festival? Like everywhere I've ever lived, there's like a point in the summer where there's like a Greek festival. And it's the best.
And there's like a Greek town, which we don't really have here. So yeah, I do kind of miss it out here. Maryland, I feel like they have a very good Greek.
Queens or Astoria the New York version?
Yes, Astoria for sure.
When I was in
like
Astoria, I saw so many Greek restaurants, and I was like, is this like Greece?
I loved it because I would go to like a Greek restaurant. We just like start talking to like the owners in Greek and stuff. It was really like this brings a sense of community, which I was like, I miss it out here. I feel like I miss a lot of my culture out here.
I was in New Jersey and I passed this Greek store called Greek Store and I sent it to Sophia. She goes, that's the most Greek thing ever.
100. Greek store. I think that there was a store in Greece when we went and it was just like home good stuff. Or like, it was like trying to be home goods, but it was just like things for your home.
For home.
Yeah. Come for your house.
Sit down here.
Yeah. Smoke cigarettes. Who cares?
That's the commercial.
Oh my gosh. Also, again, hard left. This is how this brain works. But I was in Disneyland recently. And like we went to the It's a Small World ride and there was no Grease. What? I was like, why? But then I kind of want to do like a TikTok or something of just like how it would be because Greeks, they'd just be chain smoking, like so drinking funny. Ouzo, like hey,
an animatronic cigarette.
Yeah. Change the music. I don't like this song.
It's so good.
I was imagining them like in little togas, like little gods.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, even that. But they don't.
Really, they don't even have like little.
I did not. Maybe I could have missed it, but I was like looking around. I was like, I don't see a single Greek here.
There's
rude.
More fun than pointing to all the races and being like, "That's me,
yeah,
that's you."
Yeah.
But what's sad is like whenever we would have people from Egypt visiting, we would take them to Disneyland, and when they saw the pyramids, they were like, "Oh." They're like, they found us. They know.
Whenever we pass the like little cowboy, I'm like, Kaylin, that's you, to my boyfriend because he's white. It's like a little farmer.
And at the very end, as you're leaving, it in sparkly letters, it says "Dreamy Salams." When they're saying like adios and like ciao, and then it says "Dreamy Salams."
What language is that?
Is that in any language?
Oh no, dreamy.
Where's the dreamy?
I don't
coming
know.
from?
It just like really stuck with me because I remember in 5th grade, my neighbor and I was also Egyptian. We would just tell each other dreamy salams. That was like our.
Oh, I wonder what language that is.
No. I'm saying based on the small.
Got it.
It's a small world.
It's a small world.
Yeah. Now I wonder what language that is, or supposed to be.
Well,
right?
salam, like salam alaikum, but it's like.
Oh, but dreamy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why the dreamy was throwing me off.
Yeah, it was a bizarre. Anyway.
My favorite part of It's a Small World is look up. The next time you're there, the ceiling is just like office, like
just like fluorescent lighting.
Ceiling.
That's so funny.
Popcorn ceiling.
Really takes you out of it.
Pencils.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That was always like our go-to ride after lunch because we were, let us digest.
Oh.
And it was a slow ride.
Wait, are you from here?
Yeah.
Oh.
We went to Disneyland so much
checks out.
when I was a kid.
That's
It was
cool.
so much cheaper back then.
Yeah.
And anytime we had any kind of family visiting, which was a lot, we would take them there.
Yeah.
And I was like the designated, like, take them, go show them. So
That's fun.
that's how I grew up with Disneyland is like my point of reference for the world.
That's cool. Yeah, we didn't go to Disney because even like Disney World, which a lot of people went to, but that was for rich kids. We were too poor for that. I went to Atlantic City for my vacation.
Every year.
I went because my dad had a gambling problem, but it was still fun. He spun it to be like vacation, right? Okay, you guys stay here and don't leave the hotel room. I'm gonna be visiting a friend for a little bit.
Also, can I have some money?
Yeah, he literally has asked me.
Okay.
Did ask me for money once.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, it was. It's funny now. It's funny now.
It is funny now because I remember we were both. One of the things we bonded over is that both of our dads are no longer with us.
Yes.
And we were talking about, just it is interesting to like want to talk about, people who are no longer here and you want to like respect and honor them, but at the same time there's a lot of like funny, potentially not great stories to tell.
Yeah. I think I mentioned I still want to sometimes figure out a way to talk about this on stage, but how my dad, like when I'm going to talk about it again. So I was like, I talked about this on a different podcast. Sorry, guys. But my dad, when he died, his friend was like, we need the death certificate to give to the bounty hunter looking for him. And I was like, there's a bounty hunter looking for him? So we had to like
hilarious.
give it to him to like prove that my dad was dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's a lot of stuff I learned about him afterwards. Yeah.
TV series.
I know. That's what, I need to write something
Yeah, absolutely.
one of these days.
So you were on the beach with the raccoons like me.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Wait, are raccoons in
Yeah, I
Atlantic
remember
City?
seeing a ton of raccoons in Atlantic City. Or I don't know, maybe this is my dreamy salon.
I remember going into the water and like our legs stinging afterwards, and we were like, "Did we get stung by a jellyfish, or is this just the quality of the water?" And I think it was the latter.
They have a comedy club there now, and a part of me is so curious how that plays out. We should go. We should do our hours there.
Yes, I would love that. Atlantic City is so like such fun characters there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that Ripley's Believe It or Not was so fun for us as kids. It was so fun.
We'll take you sometime.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous that you guys got to go to Atlantic City.
Yeah, you should be. It's really, you'll see heroin needles, but it's a good time for kids.
Souvenirs.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like a big immigrant thing to go to Atlantic City. If that's it's like really popular.
Also, do you remember Scopes?
No.
Okay, they were like, I think they were in Atlantic City, but they were like these little like telescope things that you took your picture, and then you like looked at it in the sun, and there were like these mini pictures.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That's always reminds me of Atlantic City and Ocean City, both trash cities, trash beach towns for sure.
And then you throw your scopes in the ocean.
Oh, did you?
No, like just to create trash.
Oh,
when
yeah,
you're done looking at them. They're like those little slide.
Yeah, it's like a little
slide.
slideshow.
This feels like something, but I don't have a recollection of it. I remember the pennies. You're always
The squish
Flash
ones.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disneyland also had that. Sorry, no, I'm just.
Now I want to know what happened to all my scopes. So what do we do with those?
Yeah, what did happen to those?
Yeah, those are so
scopes?
fun. I don't know why they don't have them anymore.
That should be merch. And then kind of a QR code on it. Yeah.
That's
admittedly
that part.
absolutely useless. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So where was your family from in Greece?
So my dad was from an island called Kefalonia, which is so beautiful. It's very like, if you ever saw this movie called Captain Corelli's Mandolin, it's very bad. It's with Nicolas Cage and Penelope Cruz.
I've heard of it.
But it takes place in Kefalonia. If you ever want to see what the island looks like. I also recommend it to people if they want to go visit Greece, because I feel like everybody always goes to Santorini or Mykonos. And I feel like they're very touristy, whereas like Kefalonia and even this other island called Zakynthos, which is really close by, it's like, I feel like you'll get more of the...
How close is it to Paros? That's the other non-Santorini island I've been to.
I forget where Paros is. I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, because there's one called, there's another island called Poros, which I don't know if I've told you guys the story, but I had a little romantic excursion with a Greek, with a Greek musician.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Oh, you're better than all of us.
I know,
all
but
two
wait,
of
can I
us.
just tell you how this story took a turn? I'll do a condensed version of the story. But basically, like, I was in Greece with my family. I was like, you guys are annoying me, because you know how like families are always like, we're going to go meet every one of our friends and have coffee, and you just sit there and watch.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like I'm 11. So I was like, I'm going to go to an island by myself. I went to Poros, which is really close to Athens, or like the port near Athens, and went to this restaurant. There was this was in 2021, so it was right when like COVID restrictions opened up, when we got like one vaccine shot, and we're like, it's over. So we're so dumb.
We're extroverts. Anything. They were like, put on a mask, and we're like, it's done. Not wearing a mask. I'll go wherever.
Yeah, we're stupid. But anyway, so I went to this restaurant. There was like a Greek musician setting up, but he was wearing a mask and he had like sweatpants. He was just doing these vocal exercises, just like, like and then I was like, okay, he's practicing. So I went to like to a different part of the restaurant where like I could not be while he's practicing. And he comes up to me.
I'm already laughing so hard. Okay, good.
What?
I'm already laughing so hard.
I'm giving too much detail. I said I was going to be like a short story. And I was like, let me give
This is your
That's all the
episode.
detail.
Take the rest of the episode.
This is what I always
You have the floor and the ceiling. Go ahead.
So when he saw me leave, and he's like, "What did you think my singing was so bad?" And I was like, "Oh my God, stop!" Like he was kind of being flirty. And then anyway, I was waiting to take this boat to the city. It doesn't matter. And so I was like, oh, I missed this boat, so I'm going to finish my wine. And now he was singing now. So I went to where he was singing, and now he's like all clean cut and like changed and showered and stuff. And his voice is like amazing. And then it was seriously like a movie where we were like eye fucking each other the whole time. And he like sent me wine, and it was like a very romantic. Then the next day we had this like really romantic beach date, and but then he was like, he really wanted to kiss me, but then he was afraid because of COVID. But again, I was like, we're vaccinated. Why? And he was scared of it. And then I was like, okay, what if I had to leave the next day? So I was like, what if I get tested and then you come to me to Athens and we get a hotel and bone? Oh, I was going to take it to boning. It was after the pandemic, so I was in quite a drought.
The version that you tell your kids is, and
right.
Then, so we could have our first kiss.
So we could have our first kiss.
Your first kiss ever.
Except that will make sense of this next part, because I did get a test. I was negative. So I was like, cool, he's going to come here. We're going to fuck. And then he came, but he called me and he was like, I'm still so scared. Is it okay if we have sex with masks on? And I said, yes.
Stop.
She said yes.
And it was bad. It was really bad.
That's like a great twist, like because you know that like everything you were telling was like a classic movie scene, but to add that, it's so funny.
But this is like what would happen to me, because even when it was happening, I was like, oh my God, this stuff like never happens to me. Like just going to an island and having this like romantic thing with this musician, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course, this is how it has to end. This is how it has to end. Us that terribly having sex with masks on, and we couldn't even. It wasn't even like really sex.
We can't like breathe very well.
No, it's very bad.
Yeah.
But I did say this on stage once, and a lot of people did have sex with masks on. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm not alone.
Masks,
Mine
and
is
then they're like,
story.
but no condom.
yeah, that's crazy.
Can't get COVID down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, And then my mom actually, okay, last part of the story, but my mom went to Greece like a couple years later and went to a restaurant randomly, and somebody was filming it, and the musician, like, he was there. Like, and so she went up to him and showed him a picture of me and was like, "That's my daughter," like, because she knew the story. And yeah.
Did he remember?
She
I did.
knew the story?
I tell my mom everything. I'm like, "Girl, let me tell you this."
You were like, "Mom, I had to get some masks."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Be safe, get some tests and some masks." That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice that he was very cautious, I guess.
But he was too cautious. He was a little crazy, Banane. He was too cautious. Okay. But that's fine. I guess it's better to be too cautious, but really mess up our romantic weekends.
I know that he did really mess up a movie moment.
Yeah.
There.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I don't know if we can top that. I feel like
but also to finish the rest of your question, my mom was from.
Where are you from? Well,
let me tell you about the time I boned this guy.
Poros. The year was 2021 on the island of Poros.
But my mom was from a very small village up in the mountains, and it was like they didn't get running water like until yesterday. Like they were like, it's a very small village called Sigrelo. Nobody's ever heard of it, but
I bet it's so beautiful.
It is really beautiful, yes. But it's cool because it's like they have the two, like both my parents like had such wildly different scenic upbringings. Like hers was like cold up in the mountains. His was like a cool little island. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you speak Greek?
I do. Yeah. It's not. It's rusty. Like because I don't speak. Because again, I have no family here. There's not a Greek community. Yeah. So, well, when I go to Greece, it like comes back to me, and I can get around by myself and stuff. Yeah. It was my first language technically, and then I went to like nursery school. What's the school before? Preschool. Yeah. And the teachers were like, "You need to teach her English because she's like she's not listening." I was like, "Do that, isn't it?" I'm like smoking a cigarette.
That's hilarious. So you were ESL.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's interesting that your mom like still retained so much Greek culture because she moved there to America pretty young.
Yeah, but like that's what I mean. They just like stuck together. It was like they never left Greece. It was like all the family stuck together. Like when she went to high school, it was like all the Greeks hung out with each other. So she really didn't like venture out into like American culture.
I remember I had a roommate in college, and I want to say her parents were from Hong Kong, and she said she grew up like that, and I was so jealous because I grew up in such a like white, like American universe, and like I feel like that's so cool that you got to like be a part of the community and like actually like know your culture in some way.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I wished is because we weren't really like big church goers, and I think church was really like how people had community. So my age, I didn't really connect with a lot of Greek people because it was like, oh, we play for this church basketball team and things like that, and I didn't really partake in that. So for me, like my friends were all like very American vibes, but then I had this like Greek family, so it did feel like this torn, which I think a lot of first generation feels very like torn between two cultures.
Did you ever like have a birthday party where you had like the Greeks and the whites?
Oh yeah,
It was like.
Yeah. They're doing their Greek dancing, and I was like, "Mom, can you guys be cool?" Like, yeah. Now I love it. Like, but I think most first generation think this. They're like, when you're younger, you just want to blend in. Like, I just was like, I want to be American. Can you guys just make me American food and like be regular? And now I really embrace my culture. I like love that about myself and my family.
Greek is such a like sexy one too. Yeah, it's such a sexy country.
Thanks.
Like everyone, I feel like if you ask anyone where they want to go on vacation, they're like, "Great, I want to go to Santorini."
Yeah. It's very beautiful, but it's also very like a very like subculture. Like it's not. There's not many Greek. I mean, a lot of times I'll do stand up, and I'm like, "Any Greeks in the audience?" No, cool. Never are. There never are. So I feel like we're like a very small subculture that is not, I don't know.
And it is very specific because it's not quite like Middle Eastern, it's not quite
European,
exactly. It's not quite like Eastern Europe. It's very much its own.
Right, yeah. Because we're like technically European, but we're so close to like the Middle East and stuff. So anyway, yeah.
That's I saw a meme that was like dividing Europe into tomato Europe and potato Europe, and it was like like this divide, and the ones that are like Mediterranean or the tomato Europe.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're both, but we're definitely more tomato.
Yeah.
But those Greek potatoes.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're so good. Lemon potatoes are so good.
I once tried to make those and failed miserably. So
I can give you a recipe because ours are bomb. Our lemon potatoes. Yeah, I also really want to know because my tia, we make, spanakopita, and my tia makes the filo by hand, which is she does, and it's the best pita ever. And I'm like, we need to pass this off. Like my cousin Vivi is trying to learn how to make the filo because I'm like,
you get so thin.
I don't know.
You got to buy that at the store.
That
you
part,
can't make
she made it. My grandma used to make it too. But yeah. She's dead now. Thea's still kicking.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, film it. Get the measurements. Do this.
I know. I feel like this, but I'm not like a domestic cook person. So I'm like, Vivi, you need to learn. You need to do that.
Do you have siblings?
I have a younger sister. Yeah.
Is that Vivi?
No, Vivi's my cousin, or she's technically my aunt, but she's like closer in age to me. One of those.
I have tons of those,
Yeah.
My mom's like 20 years younger than her next older sister, so all of her nieces and nephews were like her siblings essentially.
Yeah. She's technically like my mom's cousin, I guess. So I don't know what that. Yeah. Anyway, but she's very close. We're very close.
So did you have like the artistic inclination? Did that come at a young age, or what was childhood Sophia like?
Yeah,
what was she doing?
she was so weird. I think that I always liked. I loved watching stand-up as a kid. I think stand-up was something that really helped me feel seen because, again, I felt so like such an outcast and such a weirdo, and I felt like stand-up really spoke on those things.
Who were you watching?
I mean, I was watching like Eddie Murphy a lot, and Dave Chappelle and Martin Lawrence, and Margaret Cho, Wanda Sykes. Yeah, those are like my favorites because they like really spoke on they're different, like being different.
Yeah.
You're like, and I love the N-word.
Oh my God, I love it. I was like, I can relate to being black. Yeah, continue talking about this. Yeah, I really, and then I think I would like film silly, like I remember when I was like 11, I did like, tried to do like SNL sketches. I did one sketch where I was Courtney Love. And all it was I just like smeared lipstick on myself, and I was like, I'm Courtney Love, like something stupid.
Bring that character back. Blow up on TikTok. Let's do it.
I literally had no like comedic point of view. I was like, I'm just gonna smear lipstick on myself.
That sufficed as children to just be like, we're this adult,
right.
We get this reference.
Yeah, and I think I always kind of gravitated towards art, but I was also academic, and my sister was the artist, so I felt like my mom nurtured my academia more. She's like, she's the artist. You get to be the math one. But I always loved art more. I just felt like it wasn't really like supported,
encouraged.
Yeah. If anything, my dad was, because I always say like my mom was more like the practical one, and my dad, again, was the gambling addict. So he was like, "Go for it! You want to be an actress? Yeah, that sounds good."
What did your mom do?
For a long time, my mom was a bartender, and then about 20 years ago, 15 years ago, she now works with computers. Like she's like a computer support person.
I can't believe your mom was a bartender. That's
so
cool.
She was a bartender. And she always had like stories though. They were like cautionary tales because it was always just like, she would always be like she just saw so much. She had so many regulars. Also like all of her regulars were in love with her.
So many roofies were.
Yeah.
She was like, don't ever take a drink.
No, right. Did she look like you?
She does, yeah. We look alike. But yeah, she always had like, we just got used to like for Christmas, like a lot of her regulars would give us Christmas presents, which now I'm like, they were definitely hitting on my mom. They were like trying to get in, but at the time I was like, my mom's customers are so nice. They got us a Christmas present.
Was she like single for most of your growing up, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my my parents divorced when I was 5. She had like 2 serious boyfriends in the midst of that, but then my mom didn't get together with my stepdad until I was like in college.
Okay.
So yeah, she always had these cautionary tales. Like she would always like have a coworker whose like daughter was like, she's stripping now, okay? Never go outside. Like she just always had, or like
that was the cautionary tale.
Yeah, it was just like so many people that anyway. Yeah.
And what about your dad? Did you like see him a lot when you were growing up?
No, I didn't really. So I saw him. I mean, he was kind of in and out because again, he had a little bit of gambling problem. But like as a kid, he was kind of more in and out, and he would take us to Atlantic City for vacation. And then he was kind of more involved like in my later high school, college life.
Was it one of those situations where when dad showed up, it was like, Dad's so fun?
Yeah, 100, which I feel like so bad for my mom. Because my dad really did represent like fun and adventure. Because again, he doesn't
have to discipline.
Exactly.
Yeah, he doesn't have any of the bad parts.
Yeah, but also I will at least give him that, like, he just had that part in his spirit a little bit too. Like even like going to the gas station was fun like all the time because it was just like, we're going to get candy, you know, like it was.
And lotto tickets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'd go to like bars and play Keno all the time. Did you guys ever do Keno?
I know what it is.
Yeah. Like that was like, again, a fun activity that we were playing that I was like, this is just a game we're playing, right? We didn't let this ruin our lives or anything.
Was there an age where it like clicked in your head and you were like, oh no?
I mean, I can't remember the age, but I do remember there was a time when my dad was, there was like a wanted ad for him in the paper. And my mom showed it to me because I think she was like, you know, my dad would lie to me. He's like, no, I just had to leave for a little bit, you know, like whatever. And even with the wanted ad, he's like, that was just for a few parking tickets. So I was just like, see, Mom, he's not that bad.
Parking tickets.
You know, he just didn't pay a few parking tickets. What are you going to do? Now they want to take him to jail.
You know, it's wild. Gambling issues come up with parents a lot on this podcast.
Interesting.
I feel like there's really something, because isn't like Coming to America like in itself like a big giant gamble?
That's so true. Yeah. Yeah. And I just think, they obviously don't get the same like opportunities. So they do have to kind of sometimes skirt the law. And also, if anything, I've learned anything. My dad was always painted to me to be this like criminal, and even like now I'm like, well, but the system is rigged. So kind of sometimes you have to make these little, you know, skirt these issues a little bit.
And they like set it, like they created the gambling system. Like, of course people are going to fall prey to that. Like, how can you, they want that.
You say career criminal, all I heard was career.
Right? Also, I think it's interesting. I went through this in therapy, that gambling addiction isn't really considered addiction per se. Like when I had, you know what I mean?
Sorry. It's barely an addiction. It's not even in the DSM.
Yeah. But it's just like, it's just like a fun little gambling problem. No big deal. But then I was like, my parent was an addict. So like they still had addictive
It feels less nefarious than like a drug or alcohol.
Exactly.
Because it's like, it's an activity.
Somebody. And I actually even told
you're addicted to fun and games.
Yeah. I actually like started to work on a joke towards like my dad's just like, I can't pay the mortgage this month because I got to go play my games. You know, like that's how it's like comes across to people. And I told somebody this recently about how like, I came to terms like, I had a parent that was an addict, and he's like, yeah, but it's just a little bit of blackjack. Like, and I was like, I know, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like not, that's why, anyway, it's like hard for me to wrap my head around it too, but it's true. It's like
Do you have weird, like how do you feel towards gambling? Like, would you gamble in Vegas, or are you like, I will not touch that?
I don't even know I don't know if it's a subconscious thing or not, but I just like don't have fun doing it. Yeah. Like I am.
Same. I don't have any gambling friends or family, but like just the idea or like addictions and but I'm like, why can't I just spend my money on something I know, like food, drinks, clothes, like I know that's going to result in an outcome, whereas I mean obviously the whole point of gambling is you don't know, it's the uncertainty,
right? And I mean if you like think about it, we're in this career, we're like comedians, you know, we're taking long shots too, but like there's something, at least with gambling, I would maybe want to do like blackjack or something fun, but like playing the slot machines, you're like, and just lost $20 for no reason. Like that's just not fun to me.
That's absolutely so not fun. I only went to Vegas once and did slots, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, why do people do this?
Why do people do this? Cut to me opening Instagram 700 times in 1 minute. Dopamine.
And I was like, well, that's how it's. Yeah. It's like whatever. I can't talk today.
That's how it becomes addictive.
It's like designed to be that way. Yes. Like the Instagram has the pull down function, which is kind of like to refresh, which is like a slot machine. Wow. They make their notifications red because that's like in our little caveman brain, we're like, what is this? A berry? You know, like
absolutely. And they also sorry.
I was gonna say, have you heard how some people you can like change a setting on your phone to make it black and white? And
I did that.
Way less fun.
It works.
Do you do that?
I don't do that now because it works. Yeah. So I was like, ew, but I remember my phone being fun. Yeah, I don't want this.
Oh, that's a good idea. I haven't experimented with that.
Sometimes I lock myself out of my social media. I have like an app. I have an app to lock myself out of my apps, and
that's great.
I immediately get lonely.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
what do I do
where you're
now?
like, if a comedian falls in a forest and no one's around to TikTok it, is she still alive? I don't know.
and then I just feel like, I'm like, what are my friends doing? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
what do I
just-
do now? Do I
just
read a
alone.
book?
I couldn't do that. That'd be silly.
God, that's so sick. I hate
And also
everything.
like, my job now has to like, I need to be up on like TikTok trends. So now I'm like, I have to, just
Yeah.
like 4 hours later, just
It's
me
so
not
scary
sleeping.
how many jobs I see nowadays where it's like requirement, like must be like well versed in internet memes and everything, and it's like that's gonna like rot my brain.
I know,
but like
it's scary.
That all the careers now that are like kind of creative, it's like you have to know everything.
It's just like you got to put some kind of guardrails down so you can like do it enough to know, but then get out of it. But the whole thing is they're designed to like really hook you in. It's like that documentary.
Yeah,
So no, what am I
I know
thinking
which
about?
one you're talking about.
I do as well.
Excuse me. I as well also do.
And you. I really loved that when I went to Greece, I just felt like everyone had such a reverence for like the depth and the history, just the gravity. The Acropolis is hovering over you at all moments. Like everyone is just like so keenly aware of the context in which they live. They all didn't fall out of coconut trees, and they all were like extremely, just like reverent and just had this like humility that Americans lack because our oldest structures are like 2 years old,
Although we think that's so beautiful, and I agree. I love like Europe and history, but I have cousins who they're Syrian, but they were raised in Switzerland, and they said they don't like living in Europe because Europe is so obsessed with preserving the past. They're like, all the jobs are like museum, repairing old buildings. Like they're like, we want to go to America where like you can change things and things can be new. And I thought it was so interesting that we're both like having these different perspectives.
So interesting.
Their
that
like dream place to live. They live in Switzerland, and their dream place to live is North Carolina.
Why?
And they're just like dreaming of North Carolina.
Why?
North Carolina.
I don't know. I think they have family there, and North Carolina is actually really green and beautiful, and it's
It
just
is
like
pretty.
different than what they know.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me
Like
your
all we
phone.
want is your freedom to ruin things
Yeah.
and architecture and but anyway, I loved that so much about being in Greece, where it's just like you can't really get too self-important when like
Yes.
you're surrounded by the gods and like the history of ancient civilizations and just stuff like that. It was just like.
And also, I feel like it's cool because getting around Greece, you'll just see like ancient ruins, like on the highway. Like you're just like
Right.
driving, and there's like an old column.
Yeah, there's
that's
so
like,
many ruins that they're like, we don't need to preserve
yeah, we're
them.
not gonna put this
Yeah.
anywhere. This is just a fucking like barely like a stump of a column, but it's just like in the middle of
Yeah.
a
We're up to
highway.
here in torsos.
Yeah. We don't need any more of those.
We don't need any
Although
more
it was cool.
sculpture.
I'm glad that I went to Greece because I went there. I can't remember what year it was, but when the Acropolis, they still had all their like statues and everything in the actual Acropolis because now they moved all
it, yeah.
those into like a museum, which is understandable because they're trying to preserve it and don't want them to get damaged. But it was so cool to like see them like where they were, like to actually be able to like walk around as opposed to now it just feels like a museum. But
Did they do what they did with Michelangelo's David? Like they have like the fake David and the real David. Like did they replace it with like replicas?
I don't know if they did. No, I don't know if they did. No, I don't think. Maybe,
Okay,
I
they
don't
just
think
took
so.
them away and they were like, use your imagination.
They were just like, go across the street to the museum.
That's
Because also like what's funny about the Acropolis, which I think isn't it this the same with the pyramids, where you think of when you think of the pyramids or you think of the Acropolis, you think of it as like, oh, it's like in this like very lush like Grecian, but really it's like right in the middle of Athens. So it's like the Acropolis, and then it's just like a gross city all around it. Isn't that how the pyramids are too?
I've heard.
yeah, I think the pyramids you have to like go out
A little bit more
from like the main.
But do
main-
you like see the city from them? Like it's not like I think the way they portray
Oh,
it's like
I
you're in
Right.
the middle of this
Exactly.
desert,
Yes, that's
so
how they
far
portray
away.
Greece too.
Yeah,
or the
I
Acropolis.
think I honestly can't remember seeing the city, and I don't know if it was because it was just so much pollution.
Well, I bet when you go to like it's like the same thing you were saying when you go to Egypt, it's like you're just going to auntie's house for tea and then your uncle's house for fruit. And
For
Right.
fruit, that's so real.
We did go to like the Egyptian museum and like the pyramids and do all that stuff, but yeah, it is
Yeah.
mostly like we're going to so and so's house and like we're going to learn the history of this building, and you're going to hear about everybody who lived in this building. Going back to just like appreciating history, it's like what's so funny about it is like you internalize it so much, so you have this like humility, like you're not the most important person in the whole world, but at the same time you take it for granted, so you're like, stupid ruin on the street, right. Oh, what is this, like 4 million years old? Not totally.
That's we're around with dinosaurs.
They're like, this is like 2,000 3,000 years old. But and I remember this very distinctly when I was in Athens. We were driving, we did like a little road trip to the old capital, Nafplio. And then we saw some castle in the distance, and we were like, what's that? Let's drive to that. And so we were just trying to drive just by, like, it was like up on a hill. It's like trying to get to Griffith Park Observatory by just being like, what's that on the hill?
The Hollywood sign. I'm sure we can drive to that.
Trying to drive to the Hollywood sign. You're like, how the F do I get here? We finally got to this castle. And then as it was like a little museum and castle. And when somebody was coming out, we were like, how was it? And then he went, it's just a castle. And we were like, what do you mean, just a castle? Like, you take it for granted.
Where was this again, you said?
It was in Athens, or it was outside of Athens. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Because what we did, oh God, I'm trying to remember, we took a road trip, we went through Nafplio, and then we went to Delphi. So somewhere.
Okay. Because there is one that I forget what it's called now too, but it's like it was an old, like, not church.
Like a monastery?
Yeah, monastery. Yeah. There we go. That's really well known in Greece. And now I'm trying to remember what it was called.
Is it like a 12th or 13th century monastery?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, we went there too. And we were wearing shorts, and so they have like little aprons to cover up.
Yes, we had to do that too.
We did that. And they're like, here, wear this. And we're like, what are we cooking? And they're like, no, you're showing your legs.
Yeah,
and
you're disgusting.
Like, oh, okay.
You're a sexual woman. How dare you? Yeah.
And indeed.
When you're talking about like the life being bigger than yourself, or like being surrounded to just a girl, I need another glass of wine.
Start it over.
When you were talking about so much history and like being around it, and then seeing like, oh, life is so much bigger than ourselves, it made me think also about how community is so important in Greek culture. I think like the way they live, again, I feel like they put work secondary, and it's more like taking care of, like, life is first, right? Like most places, they have like a little siesta midday. So it very much prioritizes quality of life. But on top of that, prioritizes community, which I think is something I also struggle with. I noticed, like, growing up in America, because America is so individualistic and there's not really an inherent sense of community. But anyway, when you said that, it made me think, like, I wonder if that's why, because they have such a rich history. They probably already done what we're doing now, which is like only making life about work. And now they're like, no, not for me.
I mean, or they just were like, let's not mess with a good thing. Let's live life the way it was meant to be lived. And then we came along. Capitalism is only 500 years old. Let's not forget, everyone. It didn't always exist.
I'm curious if this is similar to you too. I know, like, in my family, we're just like always talking. Like, we just never stop talking. But I've noticed, like, when I go to my boyfriend's, like, white family, there's just like long, like, pockets of just like silence, or they'll like play a game or something. And I just feel like that's something in our, it's like blah 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 blah. We're just like always blah blah blah. Yeah, and I feel like that's also weird about.
Although I think my family's kind of adapted more. Now they're like, look at Facebook. Like, now they're like completely like online, you know. So they've kind of like, they've like 100% on WhatsApp, just like emojis constantly. That's how they all communicate, just emojis. So I feel like my family is that way, but also now they're a little bit more like on their phones than they used to be, because I think they're all becoming kind of more American, I guess. But like, still the fact that, I don't know, you go to Greece, like, you can like talk, you know, your neighbors more, you like can talk to people, just like, I don't know, it just feels a little bit more familial and community, and I miss that, and it kind of makes me sad.
As extroverts, do you consider yourself an extrovert?
How do you define
people have different theories, but what I've heard, it's like, do you get your energy from being around people, or like when you go out and you're around a bunch of people, do you go home and like you're like exhausted and drained?
I'm more like drained.
Because
every now and then I'll get energized by people and be like, wow, that was so fun. But in general, I find myself, but that's also because I hang out with a lot of comics, and comics are exhausting.
But
I think I'm actually more of an introvert, to be honest.
I feel like you're like a combo for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I think also people used to always, thank you. I think people also used to get them confused because they would say like extroverts are super outgoing and introverts are very shy. When really, like you said, it's more like how you get your energy. Because I think I'm an extrovert, but sometimes I can be shy. And sometimes people annoy the fuck out of me and I don't want to actually talk to any of them, but I need to be around them. Like I can't, if I need to get work done, like I can't be at home forever.
Right. You want to be like at a coffee shop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I don't necessarily need to be talking to other people, but I just need to be around people.
Okay.
Whereas like my friends, like during the pandemic, they're like, I thrived. I could live home forever. And I was like, no, I would get so depressed.
Yeah, it was really, because I get all my energy from people. But I will say during the pandemic, I slept really well because I didn't like see people. And when I don't see people and I'm alone, it drains me so much that I was just like, good night.
Good night. Sleepy times I go.
Good night.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But I do agree there are certain people, like certain improvisers or like annoying comics that I would feel drained too. Like that's just like regardless, I think that's exhausting.
And to be fair, I do consider myself among one of the exhausting people to be around. So
I don't
that's
think
no
so.
shade.
No, I don't think so.
to-
I think exhausting people are the ones that are like on all the time that like can't turn it off. You're not like that at all.
I can shut it off for sure.
100.
When I'm also around like close friends, I don't perform for them.
Yeah.
You also ask questions and
Yes.
you listen and you
Yes.
don't monologue.
Yes.
Those are the ones that are really exhausting
100.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monologuers.
Yeah. Yikes.
Monologuists.
Monologues. Soliloqueefs.
Soliloqueefs.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, that's the name of the episode. Okay. Soliloqueefs.
I also kind of envy monologists because I have the opposite.
Monologians.
Soliloqueefs. Because I have
How
the
many
opposite.
stupid words can we make up in a 30-second span?
Solo artists.
Yes.
Oh, solo artists. But I have the opposite where I feel like I literally start telling a story and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'll stop talking now. I'm done. I hate this.
Yeah. One of my greatest fears is that I'm being like
Talking too much.
draining.
Yeah.
At all times.
100.
And so
Yeah.
I have to apologize like anytime I speak for longer than
Yeah. That's why the Greek man story. I was like, I'm so sorry. I keep this story is too long.
But that story was fascinating.
And I still rushed it. It should have been. I should have given more details. There were other details.
I don't
in there.
think men do that. They're not like
Oh,
four
not
score
at
and
all.
7 years ago. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Let me speed this up. Let me just like under the.
But as soon as I get like a whiff of somebody's eyes glazing over, I'm like, oh, sorry, I'll kill myself. I hate this. I'm sorry.
Actually, do you want to kill me? Would that be better? Would that be more interesting? Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm wondering, just like with the whole tradition, like what are some of the customs and traditions that you feel like are super still with you from your culture?
I definitely think like saying hello and saying goodbye to every single person whenever I go to a function. Like when I found out about an Irish goodbye, I was like, that's so mean.
Oh my god. So
That
the
makes
Greek
no
goodbye.
sense to me.
The Greek goodbye is the opposite of the Irish goodbye.
We're 100% opposite.
Okay.
We kiss and say hello, like kiss on both cheeks, every single person there, or at least introduce ourselves. And then before we leave, we say bye to every single person. So
I
the fact
relate
that
to
people
this
just,
deeply.
huh?
I relate to
right?
this
Like, so the
deeply,
fact when
yeah.
people just leave and don't say anything, I was like, that's the meanest thing that's anybody's ever done. Like, is everybody mad at you now? Because that's so mean. Like,
I wouldn't do that if it was like a group of like Middle Eastern people, but if it's like somebody's mostly white party, I would.
No, it's still with me. Like I feel like I've now my friends will like if we're like go somewhere together, they're like they have to wait for me a little bit because I'm like I'm sorry I have to say bye to at least the people that I know super well. Like maybe not every single person, but like the people I know, I have to say bye to
I
everybody.
even do that at stand-up shows. Like I say goodbye to like
Yes.
the host and
Yes.
like anyone
Oh,
who
yeah,
organized
I'll
it.
do that.
And a lot of people just like
Dip.
leave.
No.
Yeah.
And like I don't get mad when comics do that. Like on
I would
my
get annoyed
show.
if somebody left the show and didn't say thanks for the spot.
Yeah. Especially
I
that's
feel like I'm okay with it because usually when I'm hosting, I'm so busy that like one less person.
Actually, no,
to,
that's
like,
true. Well, no, now that I'm thinking about it, people do that, and it's because, and then they like will
text afterwards.
text afterwards, say sorry, I had to go, and I was
Yeah,
like, I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. I
Yeah,
don't get
yeah.
like mad.
Yeah.
But wow, that is a good.
Yeah. But like as far as other things, I'm trying to think like that maybe that I don't do, but like definitely my family does, is like this, you know, you hear the spitting to like get rid of the evil spirits, the poo 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 poo. People do it if you get married or it's like your birthday or something. It's like to ward off the evil eye, because we have, you know, one time my mom has a friend, Olga, who is so religious, and one time she was around me and she was like, oh, Sophia, you make me exhausted. I think somebody gave you the evil eye, because like I was making her so tired, and it was like somebody was taking the energy out of me. So she was just like poo 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 poo, and then gave me a card of like the Virgin Mary to keep in my wallet.
So funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny how like the coexistence of Christianity and then like these more secular superstitions. I'm so fascinated by that, because like Eastern Christianity is so witchy. Like I'm Coptic, you're Greek Orthodox. Like we have like very like the saints. It's very like mystic. It's very like
100. And like, yeah, sorry, it just reminded me when my uncle was born. This is maybe a side tangent. But when my uncle was born, he was born like he wasn't crying. Like they were trying to figure out what was wrong with him, and like gave him like goat pee to drink and shit. Like just the things that you're like, why would you go to that first? You know, they're like, give him goat pee. And then my grandma like prayed to like this saint. I forget who the saint was, to like save my uncle.
The patron saint of goat pee.
Yeah, yes. You know, as we know. And then one of the nurses was like, I think he's like cold. So they like wrapped him in a blanket, and then he like, you know, warmed up and got the color back. And then years later, my mom went to Greece and saw like a gypsy. I don't know if that's an appropriate term, but that's what she calls it. And the gypsy said my grandma never like fulfilled her promise. Like she was supposed to go, like she was like, please, if you come, like I'll come to your whatever statue and I'll give an offering or something. And she never fulfilled her promise, which now I'm like, I think we have to do it or something because we're cursed or something. Thank you. Spit on me. Yeah.
And I spit on you the other night. I was just saving you. I spit on Christie's face.
Why?
Accidentally.
But like how?
Like we were just talking close together.
You know how that happens. And you accidentally
spit. Funny because it like hit me, and then Lynn's like, "What's wrong with me?" I was like, "You just spit on me."
It was weird because I didn't feel it either. Like usually you feel when you spit on
and you're like, "Oops, sorry." Yeah.
And I just like
it just flew out. It's okay. It was fine.
Yeah.
But it was good luck. Yes.
On the traditions line, something that intrigues me is like how much are like the Greek gods, like involved in like your mythology, and like, or is that just like?
I know your big one is Ganesha. So, I'm sorry.
Or is it like they don't?
I think it's more for like storytelling. Okay. Like they're not actually like religiously. Nobody's but
praying to, I don't know,
Hera.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I think it's more like Zeus. For like fun storytelling. Okay. But I was obsessed with Greek gods when I was really? Yeah. Who's your favorite?
I feel like Athena is like a pretty
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Because mine was Aphrodite, but
well, come on.
But also
She's
I feel
hot.
like, but like, I know, and that's what I'm always going for, like that, like, even in like watching Disney, I'm like, I always go for the hot girls or the villains. I'm like, you know, like when Ursula turns bad, I'm like, he should have gone with her. She's hot.
You're like, she had jet black hair.
Yeah,
and we all
exactly.
Know that's the hottest
cool.
thing.
That's the hottest one.
She was hot.
Yeah, right?
I do think evil Ursula, when she transformed,
right? So
was
hot.
Hotter than Ariel.
And also like personality. You know what I mean? Like Ariel's kind of a dud.
Yeah, agreed.
That's why I feel like a lot of the villains are always like cool and fun.
We're all Rizzos.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always a Rizzo. 100. I get to be the slutty one. Hell yeah.
Cigarette included.
Yeah. Did you were you into the gods at all? Did you have a favorite?
I was a real Poseidon head. No, I wasn't into it. I mean, I love like hearing about like myths and like learning about stuff like that, but I wasn't.
I was gonna say Poseidon's not a good choice, but okay.
Is it Greek? Is that Poseidon Greek?
He is
okay,
Greek, yeah.
Because you know, there's like Greek and Roman. And
because they tried to steal ours. Yeah, we have issue with that.
You have beef with Rome.
Beef with them. Yeah, they tried to come.
Ancient Egypt will ref the battle between ancient Rome and ancient Greece.
Okay.
Also, didn't Rome bring like all the violence and brutality to the party? Like, I feel like Greece
we were
like
partying.
wine.
Exactly. Yeah. We were just partying, and then they came over, screwed it all up. God. Tried to act like, oh, this god is Pluto now. No, it's not. That's Apollo. I'm pretty sure that was
our, yeah. Oh my God. That was our modern day. What color is this dress?
Oh yes, 100.
Is it Apollo or Pluto?
Yeah, yes.
Can I just ask, did any of you see White?
I saw White and Gold. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so blue and black for me.
I can't remember now.
It's a little horrible.
I was like, oh, White and Gold. Hey, let's talk about something that happened 11 years ago. Let's talk about
It's still a
11-year-old
thing.
me.
Because I truly did not believe anyone saw White and Gold, and it like still to this day, I'm like, what?
Now
are you
I can't remember.
About?
I feel like I saw White and Gold. Did I? I can't remember.
That was like
now.
that was like the beginning of like true meme culture.
100, yeah.
Where it was just like everyone
That was like the first viral thing. I feel
you
like
just had to like opine as well.
yeah.
Like people texting me, like, what do you see?
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
Who is this?
Who is this? I'm blocking you.
Unsubscribe. That's crazy. I wonder. Okay, so we were talking about like Evil Eye. We were talking about the intersection between like the Christianity and then just sort of like the cultural. Like, do you think it was like pretty seamless with you? Because I think that there is sometimes like a little bit of a tension between superstition versus like doctrine.
You mean with
in my family?
Yeah. Do you mean? Sorry, can you rephrase that question?
Or just, actually, no, and you failed the test.
Shit, I knew it.
Yeah, your results are in the mail, actually.
I will say, are you saying like, no, say it.
Just say yes.
Yes. Well, it made me think of, this is a doubter.
Yeah,
but it
say
made
what
me
you're going
think
to say anyway and pretend you're answering the question.
Okay, cool, I'll do that.
Yes,
My
I
mom's
am.
friend Olga, who again gave me the Virgin Mary, when we found out my mom had recently recovered from breast cancer, and when we found out my stepdad was in Greece, and Olga was like, "You have to go to this one monastery and pray to the like that." So that was like that's still part of it, right? There's still like a little bit of like superstition there.
Yes,
I don't know if my stepdad actually did do that, but like there's still a little bit of like, let's not risk it. You know what I mean? Let's just do it just in case. It's still kind of the vibe.
I'm the most risk averse person.
This wasn't a tradition, but I just think it's funny because again, I told you my mom was from like a really small village up in the mountains. Like they told me a story once where they would like put their ear, like they had no cars, so they had put their ear to the ground when like this one bus came up the mountain. They're like, look at it. Like, I'm sure to them, they're like, this outer space, woo, like a machine is coming. But like, she also mentioned when they were younger, there was a superstition, like not to look at the stars because you could get warts if you looked at the stars. So just
like in the shape of constellation.
Maybe. Yeah. I was like, that's going to end up here. So they just like that was like a superstition out there. So not really a tradition, but I thought it was like a funny, superstition, I guess.
What's like a Greek custom that you've deeply held on to that you can't let go of?
Holding vendettas against people.
Grudges.
Yeah,
She's
grudges.
got Scorpio in her
I
chart.
I don't know if I do have some, but do I really hold grudges? I just think I don't let things, no, I forgive easily, but I will still remember. My mom's way more like, she's like, I haven't talked to her for 25 years and I never will, you know, like, what
I say I'm gonna hold a grudge for the rest of my life, and then I'm just like, oh no, I don't care.
Forgive everything.
I do
like
forgive
bad.
easily, but I won't. No, what am I lying? I think I'm lying. I think I forgive easily. I just don't necessarily let things go.
Vendettas, though, that's like grudge with a mission. Like that's like revenge,
yeah,
right?
I have to like ruin somebody's life if they hurt
That
me.
feels like inherited from some Greek gods. That feels like real
yeah, it's very Hera.
Vengeance. Huge tradition in our culture. We love revenge.
Definitely like a hold on, I'm at the precipice of thinking of something. Hold, please. Like if you wrong me in a certain way, I will cut you out of my life. That's the vibe.
If,
like
if
not feeling
wrong
appreciated.
You make them like push a boulder in hell for eternity.
Yeah. It's giving Hera for sure.
I love this.
Hera is like, okay, I'm turning you into a cow.
We're going to pivot now to our final segment called Dig Deep.
Ooh.
It's where we ask some deep questions. The first one is basically shorthand in the movie of your life, who plays you and what is the arc?
Okay. I think that it would be Jenny Slate.
Yes.
Because I think we have similar kind of looks, but also
And energies.
Yeah, but she's kind of like, like she's kind of a little weirdo. And yeah, so I would like want her to play me.
Marcel the Shell is like the best thing I've ever seen. Obsessed.
Yeah, it's such like a silly, like she has like a really silly, weird brain. I like that. I think the story arc would be like just like a fucking little weird little girl one day realizes she's cool.
So if it were like, if you had to pick a movie and a TV show and like cross them over, like a crossover episode, what would it be?
I mean, like Pen 15. I think I really resonated with Pen 15. I was like, this was me. This is my experience. Movie train wreck. I mean, My Big Fat Greek Wedding probably would be would be like Pen 15 meets My Big Fat Greek Wedding. So it's like a coming of age of like a first generation girl who's a silly little weirdo and really embraces it in the end. Wow. Maybe with a friend.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Should I make this?
Yes. I feel like we're coming up with gold here.
Yeah.
Okay. Cleopatra had a long legacy of being a scholar.
I thought you said long legs. I was like,
legs.
okay.
Our last question, it's the deepest of the... How long are your legs?
Very.
I feel like she was an Arab. She wasn't an Arab, so she probably didn't actually. I don't know how long her legs were. I'm so sorry.
Can you look that up next time? Wow, unprepared.
But she had a long legacy as like a queen and a scholar, blah, blah, blah. What would you like your legacy to be, and what would you like your...
Tombstone to read.
Oh, tombstone to read. I mean, I would say my legacy, I want to be a horror comedy filmmaker. And my tombstone to be like, this bitch was hot and funny and kind of a bitch in a cool way. I don't know.
We can relate that. I like all of that, and that suits you.
Yeah, I love that for me.
Yeah.
I do love that for you.
Yeah. You'll be buried in Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
Yeah,
with me,
yeah.
so we can watch the movies.
Did you say with Whitney?
No, with me.
Oh, with you, yeah.
And Whitney Cummings, I guess.
No, I was thinking Houston. I was like, is she in Hollywood Forever Cemetery?
Way better.
That's funny.
I mean, Whitney Cummings is great. Whitney Houston.
Yeah, it's Whitney Houston. Come on.
Well, the big difference is Whitney's alive.
Yeah.
Whitney Cummings
That part,
alive.
yeah.
That's a big deal. And that
For
is
now.
really working for her in her career is being alive. Although some people don't become famous until after death.
True that.
Such as
Van Gogh.
Vincent van Gogh.
And all three of us.
Yeah. We're going to be famous in death because we'll be on one of those like ghost hunting stories and we'll be haunting them so we can finally get some camera time.
I always talk about how like if I just like died suddenly, the entire comedy community would be like, we loved her. I could get booked on anything if I died.
Yeah.
Was it Christopher Walken though who said like you will be shocked at how quickly people forget you? Like just not like your true loved ones, but just like the average person.
Yeah.
And so it's like these people will so quickly forget you. So it's like stop worrying about what they're all thinking.
That part. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
I
yikes.
relate to that.
And
usually.
they will stop. It's such a good quote. I have to.
Yeah.
Does he know that from the time he died?
He probably forgot a lot of dead people and
The time that he maybe murdered Natalie Wood.
Oh.
You didn't hear the
Is that a
story?
thing?
Yeah, she like drowned when they were like on some party boat together.
What?
Yeah.
Did you know about this?
yes.
But I don't know if it was like
gosh.
definitely him. I think it was whoever her boyfriend was, but he was on the boat, so I
But
think
it was
he
like
knows.
an accident.
Yeah.
The quote is, if you know how quickly people forget the dead, you would stop living to impress people.
Snap, 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 snaps.
Yeah.
Now let's go to our little comedy shows where we beg people to clap for us.
Where we beg.
But I will say that over the pandemic, I really, because I would think that like doing comedy, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Like, whatever, I'm just making like little silly boner jokes. But then during the pandemic, like to see how much people like really needed comedy and entertainment and Netflix and whatever, it really validated like what I wanted to do in life, is to be an entertainer, because I was like, oh, you really do help people in their darkest hours.
I felt the same way when I was at a law firm and I was like, now more than ever, everyone's getting sued. and I need to be there.
I did not feel necessary when they laid me off from all my freelance marketing jobs. Because they're like, marketing's non-essential.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool.
Okay, great. I like how I stumbled into like copywriting over the pandemic. And I'm like, I kind of like this career. Oh, okay, so it's going extinct. Great. Good.
Just as AI.
Yep.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Gotta go back to
That's almost like a Twilight Zone bit. Mm-hmm. It's like you were like, I finally found my calling. What's that?
Yeah.
ChatGPT what?
There was a play that I did in college called The Adding Machine, which was basically, have you heard of this play? Mm-hmm. It was basically about how like the adding machine, which is like the old calculators, replaced people's jobs because people just used to like do the math, and that was like the whole. And now I just feel like we're going through that now with AI.
Absolutely, it's
kind of
horrifying.
scary. Yeah,
it's really scary.
It's funny because my job now really like embraces AI. It's good to like learn about, but right now it's good for a tool, but it is a little scary where it could go.
I'm using it for copywriting.
I know it's very helpful as a tool, but it's very like, okay, but if they take over, can we just have like a universal income and just vibe? Can I just get high and read books? That's cool.
That's the Greek custom.
Yeah,
right
that's what I'm
there.
saying.
Yeah.
I wasn't meant to work. I was meant to be by a beach, smoke cigarettes and drink wine all day.
Smoke cigarettes and
Smoke cigarettes, do good stuff.
The Maya Rudolph, Donatella Versace impression is like,
oh, I love that.
Love her so much.
I feel like this episode made me want feta cheese. That's all I want right now.
Yeah.
So racist. I'm just kidding.
They used to call me Feta. My like group of friends used to call me Feta. That's like my nickname, and I was like, I don't know if I love that. It's not.
Was it your Greek friends or was
No,
it
it was like an American. It was like because you're the Greek. Oh, Feta.
Oh, no.
But I was like, I don't know if I want like me, like a middle school to high school girl who wants to be like hot and looked as attractive to be like compared to like goat cheese.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, or
I could
sheep
see, like,
cheese.
If your like parents called you that, that would be kind of cute. But
To be like, oh, Feta. I'm like, you're not even saying it right. You gotta say Feta.
Like, is it because you're Greek? You're like, no, it's because I crumble under pressure.
That was it. Yeah.
There it is.
Ah, Sophia.
Yes.
Sophia Feta Zolan. Your Christian name.
How'd you know?
We love you so much. Where can people find you? What would you like to promote?
People can find me on all socials on Sophia Zolan because I took all of them over because I'm old. And I made a horror comedy short film called Shadow. And I think by the time this is out, it might not be... I don't know if I can air it yet because I'm in film festivals right now, so I can't share publicly. But sign on to my newsletter so that I can let you know when it's out available and or when it's showing at a city near you.
Yay! That's so exciting. I can't wait to watch it.
Yay!
That's the episode. Thank you so much for joining us. I've been Christy Bana.
I'm Lynn Molly.
And I'm Sophia Zolan.
See you later. Bye-bye.